Hi friends, welcome back to Playing Tribute to Ace Attorney Investigations, where we are at the finale. The very last part of the last case of the game, Turnabout Ablaze, and part 3, because the end is going on forever. Here we go. We are picking up right where we left off. Mr. Alba, I request that you testify once more. As if there is anything else for me to testify about. I still have yet to fully prove that it was Mr. Alba who murdered Mr. Cochin. Well, I would like to hear about your movements before the murder occurred. I wonder if you could tell us about what you did here at the Theatrum Neutralis? Very well, I suppose I could tell you about that. And because about all I did was watch the Steel Samurai stage show. Elaborating on even that alone is good enough for me. The only way for me to place this man under arrest is to pinpoint the exact location of where the murder took place, for that is the key to this investigation. Oh, I think I have an idea of what we're going to be pointing out here. This will be fun. Before we go into that, though, because we're going to be using the evidence, let's flip through it so that you guys can also see what we're going to be pointing out later. Feel free to pause if I'm going through too fast. The samurai dogs, they've got to be there important for a reason. I've already pretty much used that. And then there's that, which we'll probably still have to figure out things for. And we've taken care of that. Alright. The Steel Samurai show. I watched from the last row. The stage was well lit, but it was dark out in the audience. I swear I was there in the audience, but it's hard to prove that, I suppose. I do remember the contents of the show very well, though. Is that proof enough for you? Those moving scenes were seared into this old man's heart. I'll never forget them. So you were in the theater proper, watching the Steel Samurai stage show, were you? Of course I was. I have a great fondness for the Steel Samurai. Yeah, that was pretty cool up there, wasn't I? You're not the one who is cool. It's the Steel Samurai who is cool. Yeah, and the Steel Samurai special finishing move today was really something, huh? Hey, Edgy. Who is she? It was a super cute girl. Dude, she is 16. Chill. 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 She's been standing here this whole time, and only now he notices her. Her name is Kay Faraday, and she's helping me in my investigation. Sorry I didn't get to introduce myself earlier, but better late than never. Yeah, it's okay. I'm Larry Buds! Silence the peanut gallery. There's no time for such trivialities at a time like this. Mr. Prosecutor, this is the final battle. You got that? So you've been saying. This is the end. For that man there. Now that's the kind of thing I like to hear. I think I'll give trusting you a try, Mr. Prosecutor. Or rather, Mr. Edgeworth. I leave this critical battle up to you, Mr. Edgeworth. Have no fear. I will finish the job. This really is the endgame. The time has come to expose every last one of Mr. Alba's lies. I think they were trying to give us a hint, by the way, with that little conversation back and forth. I'm glad that they didn't go further than that, though, because otherwise everything that I wanted to do would be ruined. Please, give me some information on the contents of the show. Well, I remember the contents of the show as well myself. That's nice. That's nice. Miles Edgeworth, don't allow yourself to be riled up by him at this important juncture. I wasn't planning to let him. Well, if you ask me, I think I'm the biggest Steel Samurai expert around here. And didn't you think the climactic scene of today's show was just totally awesome? Yes, I remember that well. And that spectacular special move. The way you delivered the final blow against the evil magistrate. Early summer rain job. Oh, the scene will live on in my heart forever. Is that how it went? I totally forgot about that. How can you forget your own special moves? That's the special attack that the Steel Samurai uses when he's using the Samurai Spear. Yes, and today was the first time they showed it off, was it not? If I hadn't watched the show, then how could I answer you with the name of the move? I suppose you are correct, but if you could please elaborate on this point for me. No, it wasn't. The special move today was the early summer rain jab. Is that your final answer?
Objection!
You little irritating gnat. Do you think you can trip me up by asking the same question over and over? That was not my intention. Your testimony is more than sufficient. However, I believe it would be wise for you to take a look at this. Samurai spear. What about it? This spear actually never made it on stage today. Excuse me. Unfortunately for you, tonight's Steel Samurai happened to be a goof of a young man with an abundance of useless hot-bloodedness. Having said that, said useless man bent the spear during his rehearsal this evening. He may be a doofus, and he may be accident-prone, but every time that his little accident-proneness comes into play, he ends up being a decisive witness or evidence or something in a difficult case. So, you know what? Props to you, Larry. You are a wild card that is necessary for victory, and I'm sorry that you are the joke of things when you are. Kay, do you remember what the Steel Samurai special move was tonight? It was the Steel Samurai Sushi Slash! Correct, because he couldn't use the spear as a last-minute change was made. Had you really been watching the show, you would have known the move that was used. Quercus Alba. You didn't watch even a single minute of the Steel Samurai stage show tonight, did you? Ha! So if he wasn't watching the show tonight, then it opens up the possibility that he was busy killing Mr. Cochin instead. So where were you during the show? I demand an answer now. Murdering. And all the laughter again. Just what is so funny? You're so sloppy. And so are your conclusions. I still insist that I watched the show, or most of it in any case. What do you mean by most of it? You see, during the show I left my seat for a spell to visit the bathroom. I assume that was when that dramatic scene was played out on stage. That's the lousiest, lamest excuse I've ever heard in my life, pal. Just because he got the name of the move wrong. We can't really use that as proof that he didn't watch the show at all. Well, that was fun while it lasted. As a fan of the Steel Samurai, I had wanted to watch the entire show honest. As a Steel Samurai fan? For someone who wasn't even in his seat for the climax of the show, you have no right to call yourself a Steel Samurai fan, ever. Now who's holding it? Who was that just now? Larry? It would be I, young lady! Larry, what are you doing interrupting me like that? Gee, just hold for a second, I beg. You may never accept this old man as a Steel Samurai fan, but I totally think he's a Steel Samaniac. Steel Samaniac. I totally think he's a Steel Samaniac. What exactly is a Steel Samaniac, pal? I believe he meant to say Steel Samurai Maniac. Yeah! And trust me, I know a real fan when I see one, because I'm the Steel Samurai. I will never acknowledge you as the true Steel Samurai. What are you getting all worked up over, Mr. Edgeworth? It appears that the real Steel Samurai recognizes me as a fan. As well he should, for I am a fan. It's not as though I had missed the entire show. It was a most amazing show, filled with the spirit of the young and the young at heart. The sarcasm dripping from his long wooden nose couldn't run any thicker. Getting the name of the move wrong only proves that he didn't watch the last scene. What I really need here Something more definitive. Something that links Mr. Alba directly to the murder of Mr. Manny Kuchin. You know what, Gramps? You're really something else. I'm honored to receive such praise from the Steel Samurai. But what is it for? Well, I was just wondering how you found out about the early summer rain job. That move is a bit of a secret that only a small portion of the staff know about. Wait, it was a secret. Larry, wait, what did you just say? Huh? Did I say something stupid again? Did you say that the early summer rain job was actually a secret? Well, maybe I shouldn't have said secret. It's more like we only decided on the name of the move right before the start of the show. Right before? Yeah, the stage director was going nuts because we were supposed to debut the move. Then you didn't get to anyway. About 5 minutes before the show, we threw it up on the dressing room's whiteboard. Early summer rain job. That's kind of how we decided the name of the move. But by that time, I'd already bent the spear, so I guess the whole thing was kind of pointless. All of your Steel Samurai actors are the same. The director has my complete sympathy. So basically, because we changed the move to the Sushi Slash, we kind of pretended that the early summer rain job didn't exist at all. I mean, it'd be bad if someone found out we changed the move, so we made it a secret. So basically, a gag order doesn't shoot for publicity's sake. It almost makes the early summer rain job sound like a lost art. Yeah, which is why I think most of the staff haven't even heard the move. Hold those lips of yours still. What the heck, old man? I've done nothing but listen, and from what I can tell, it's all very unrelated to the case. It's all very tedious and a pointless exercise and wasting time, much like this kid's show. Objection! Much like a kid's show. Mr. Alba, I believe the one you should be quiet now is you. How dare you? I suspect that you've already noticed exactly what the very severe implications are in this man's testimony. So now you're trying to bully me, huh? There are no implications to be read into a behind-the-scenes story of a kid's show. Don't even think about trying to slither your way out of this, Quercus Alba. You were the one who said it yourself that the name of the move was Early Summer Rain Job. But that name was only decided right before the show was about to start. So, just what are you driving at? That the name of the move, you told us, was never used in the show or said aloud. Now then, would you care to tell us about how you found out the name of that move? Because I can only think of one way you could have known. Quercus Alba, this is the only way you could have known the name of the special move. You saw it. You knew the name because you saw it. You saw it on the dressing room's whiteboard. The staff members who knew we were keeping it a secret. So you couldn't have simply gone up to a staff member and asked, which means that the only other option left is that you saw it on the whiteboard. So that means that Mr. Alba was in the waiting room at some point, huh? But what's the big deal, sir? I don't see what that means. There's another piece of evidence that has a great deal to do with the dressing room. Finally! So we can't afford to let it slide. The samurai dogs.
Take that!
Oh, maybe not. Maybe not yet. We're good there. We're good. We're coming. Oh, don't worry. Dressing room and Mr. Cushion's room. Right. Well, wait, no. Wasn't the dressing room on the other side of the moving fireplace? Because Old Bag was there eating the samurai dogs. And it was proof that it was used.
Take that!
Nope, that's not it either. Okay, alright, I'm getting a little excited here. Sorry. Okay. Let me actually pay attention to what I'm looking at here. Oh, duh. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I was jumping ahead of things. I know whenever Larry was doing the whole flashback thing and it was like, oh yeah, it was on the whiteboard, I saw that the Iron Infant was in the cart. So I was like, oh yeah, there's the Iron Infant in the cart. So he must have been in there to grab it. I don't know why I didn't present this to begin with, because as he was saying that, I was like, oh, that's when he went in to get it, whenever he saw that name on the whiteboard.
Take that!
I apologize. I have no excuse. I don't know why I didn't just do that, because it was going through my mind at the time of the story. Alright. The pushcart that was used to move the body was right there in the dressing room. Yeah, see? When that picture was shown, I was like, oh, hey! He stole the pushcart while he looked at the board and saw what was going on in the show. During the show, the pushcart awaited its turn to be used on stage in the dressing room. And it was finally pushed there, along with the Iron Infant, in the last scene of the show. And then, right after the show ended, it went to the Alabasta along with the Steel Samurai. Which means that the only time the killer could have placed the body inside the pushcart was... Oh, okay, he's probably going to argue that, oh, I saw it after the murder, or before the murder, or whatever. And then I'm going to say, oh no, Miss Oldbag was eating samurai dogs in there. So that's when I'm going to present the samurai dogs. It's going to be the next thing. Which means that the only time the killer could have placed the body inside a pushcart was when the pushcart was in the dressing room backstage. So basically, the killer has to be someone who visited the dressing room during the show. Precisely. Oh, but wait! What if, and this is just a what if the murder didn't take place in the dressing room? What do you mean, Kay? I have to admit, she brings up a valid possibility. During the show, the dressing room was supposed to be devoid of people. Anyone going into the private dressing room would stand out like a sore thumb. But despite that, the killer still managed to move the body with the pushcart. Correct, and this is because of the setup of the theater's dressing room. That would be the ideal location for the murder of Manny Cochin. Quercus Alba, during the show you went down to the dressing room. And I want to know why. Yes. Yes, I was there. I went into the dressing room. I knew it. I'm placing you under arrest right now, pal. You got that? Arrest! Not so fast. What is it now? Don't I deserve a chance to explain myself? Explain? What is there to explain? I believe I told you earlier that I went to the bathroom. Well, I got lost when I did. I wouldn't ask for directions, but when I opened the dressing room door, no one was inside. And that's when I saw the name on the move on the whiteboard. You punk, still trying to get out of this? Do you really think you can get away with this point? Mr. Edgeworth, isn't there anything you can do to stop him? I don't have enough evidence on hand to do anything. I don't have the airtight evidence I need to put this man away for good. But if that's what I need, then perhaps... Agent Lang, I believe an investigation of the dressing room in question is in order. It's possible that we may find new evidence there. Yeah, if Mr. Edgeworth pokes around in there, I'm sure he'll find some new facts, pal. Ooh, and if we use Little Thief, we may even learn something from recreation. We don't need to do any of that. What? Wolfie, how could you? I'm not saying this to be mean. It's just that I've already searched there. My men really are something else. And they found nothing. There's only one thing I can say to assist, and it's that they found nothing. That's it. I guess you're right. If they had found something, they would have reported to us. They couldn't find anything because there was nothing there to find. And if there's no info to feed into Little Thief, then I can't do much help either. Is this the end? The murder took place in this theater, which is not protected under extraterritorial rights. And the fact that it was Mr. Alba himself who committed the murder. If I can't prove both statements to be true, Mr. Alba walks away a free man. Is there no other course of action left to us? It would appear that your hand of cards has turned out to be a bust. Now, if you excuse me. Because of you people, I missed my flight. Now, I must make haste to arrange for a new one. Now what? Who is it this time? Hi. Hold it right there, you whippersnappers. First Larry, and now you. What's it with that scary mobster-like scowl on your face, Eddie Pooh? I'm sorry, my voice is shot from all these voices. Oh my gosh. Don't treat me like I'm some sort of nuisance. I've been meaning to say this, but all you keep talking about things I don't get at all. You're all leaving this lady in the sad, depressing, lonely dust, and I'm about to cry in. Why did you have to speak up right at this instant? But you know what, Edgy Poo? Cheer up! Because I'm about to give you the most wonderful thing. The most wonderful thing? From you. It's so super special that I couldn't give it away to just anyone, you know. Oh, my special present of love to my sweet Edgy Poo. Are you ready? Is this... It's a box of those samurai dogs, right? Yes, oh, Edgy Poo, here, go on and eat one. You'll feel right as rain. Are we through here? Why did everyone get so quiet all of a sudden? Edgy Poo! Tell me you understand the depths of this lady's love for you. I'm not one to hand out snacks willy-nilly, you know. No, sir. The thought occurred to me that maybe it would be good if I fed you and made sure you're nice and full in one day. It's my dream to serve you your own homemade food. It's the desire of every woman to make sure your beloved never goes hungry. Wow, I actually got pretty far on that one. Mr. Edgeworth, can't you do anything about her? There's no power on earth that can force that woman into silence. But I'm so sick and tired of it. All you people do is look down on me. Even this box of samurai dogs played me for a fool. I had a special design on the fan. It had a special design on its fan, like the Japanese flag. So I thought it was special. But when I ate one, it tasted just like all the rest. It made me so mad. Wait, a special box with a Hinomori-like fan on it. Hinomaru? Apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Hinomaru-like fan on it. I've never heard of such a piece of merchandise existing before. Was it blood splot? However, there is. The red rising sun on this fan is filled in. Is it possible? Could it be? After the show, the samurai dogs were piled up on the dressing room floor. However, there's no such thing as a rising sun dog. It's blood! This contradiction of facts between something that should not exist and yet does. Oh yeah, because it's not on that one. Interesting. The rays from this rising sun may be just what we needed to point us in the right direction. A present. Studio bigwigs basically told us to play delivery boys. We're supposed to hand the dogs off to the embassy people and tell them hi. And pile them all into the pushcart just to move them along. Do we understand what this means? Killed Mr. Cochin and placed his body inside the pushcart. Forces our samurai to move. Here we go. No matter how fragile or small the connections may be, once we found them all, the way to the truth will be revealed. Okay, so... boxes of samurai dogs are sitting in the pushcart. Filled in for some reason. So let's put this and this together, because those both have to do with the pushcart. The killer used the pushcart to transport the body, which means that they had to remove the samurai dogs from within first. Therefore, the samurai dogs that were piled up on the dressing room floor were most likely taken out of the pushcart by the killer. Dogs were put on the dressing room floor with the killer to make room for the body. And then the body was put in there, dripping blood on the rising sun dogs. That which should not exist. This box of samurai dogs was to the Hinomaru on it. If this red rising sun was filled in when the killer was busy removing dogs from the pushcart, then it's proof that the murder took place in the dressing room. As long as this red substance turns out to be what I believe it to be. Wendy Oldbag. I thank you. That's all she wanted. What you have given to me is truly something very special. Edgy Poo! Mr. Edgeworth, are you sure you're feeling okay, sir? Mr. Alba, as I suspected, you killed Mr. Cochin in the dressing room. How many times must I listen to you repeat yourself? Haven't you figured it out yet? Your words are meaningless, worthless, and powerless. The only way I'm going to continue to cooperate is with some definitive evidence. That's arrogance, that's self-confidence. You believe that you've erased every piece of evidence that could incriminate you. However, there remains one piece here. And this is what will put you away for good. You're bluffing. Oh, hey, Mr. Prosecutor, sounds like you finally found them. Finally found the fangs we need to go after this guy's jugular. So tell us, what about that box of samurai dogs is going to put this old man away? The trace evidence that will bring him down. Why, it's here, of course. Splash of blood. This box of samurai dogs with a rising sun fan on it. It should never have existed. So I want you all to take a good look at this red spot. It's a single drop of blood. Bullseye. Right in the circle. What? What? Blood, you say? Agent Lang, I'd like this blood analyzed post-haste. I gotta admit, I'm a bit surprised. I can't believe we found blood in a place like this. Hey, you, get this down to the lab pronto. But why was there blood on that box to begin with? If we think about the flow of the crime, I think the reason will become obvious. Larry, you said that you transported the samurai dogs with the pushcart, correct? Yeah. You have a great memory, Edgy. That pushcart was a bit too big for my son. You know what I mean? So to make sure everyone could see him, I had to pile some stuff in. I figured the samurai dogs were there, so I'd use them to fill up the cart. If what Larry says is true, then what were the boxes doing on the floor? I see. The killer took them out in order to place the body in the pushcart. Exactly. And that's when I believe the victim's blood found its way onto that box. But when my men investigated that room, not a single box of samurai dogs was in there. Because embassy staff members had already confiscated them. Yes, no doubt to hide the evidence of the murder. It's a good thing Miss Oldbag managed to steal that one box before they got to him, huh? Looks like Miss Oldbag also managed to put this great thief to shame. Oh, what a scandalous way of putting that. I didn't steal, I received it for myself. Quercus Alba, I'll say that this is one fatal oversight on your part. Sorry to rain on your little love fest, however, how can he be so confident in a no-win situation for him like this? Even if that blood turns out to belong to Mr. Cochin, then what? Heh. So, Mr. Edgeworth, it sounds like he's not ready to call it quits yet, huh? The sole piece of evidence that was left at the scene of the crime. That alone has shed light on a new fact. At the very least, we now have proof that the murder occurred in the dressing room. And you say that like it means something. Huh? Excuse me, sirs. Report. What were the results of the analysis? Sir, the analysis came back and confirmed that the red substance is blood. I knew it. With this Quercus Alba. Mr. Edgeworth, I wonder if you might humor my question? Your question. The one from before, or have you forgotten? Even if that is Mr. Cochin's blood, what difference would it make? Like we already told you, it proves that the crime scene was in that dressing room. But does it prove that I am your killer, does it? That's... That's a very good point. The blood on that box doesn't prove that Mr. Alba is the killer. Then, this evidence, it's meaningless? That can't be. We're so close, sir. How to smack that smug look off his face? Come on, there's gotta be something we can do. We finally found a solid piece of evidence. There must be something I can expose with it. I can't think of a single thing. They always laugh. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be on my way. Now who? Who was that? It's too late. I won't allow anyone to stop me now. It wasn't me, pal. And it wasn't me this time either. It wasn't me either. Wait a second. Is it? No. It was me! Why did you? Because I haven't finished reporting everything to you yet, sir. Oh, okay. There's more. What? Hurry up and spit it out. Yes, sir. The blood I mentioned. It's not the same blood type of the victim's blood. Oh! Oh, snap. No. What? What do you mean it's not the same type? You mean it's not the victim's blood? If it isn't his, And who is it? Who is it? Whose is it? I don't know, sir! All I know is that it's not the same blood type as the victim, sir. I know who it is. And I know why it's there. What should we do now, Mr. Edgeworth? I have no idea what's what anymore. Neither do I. Huh, usually Edgeworth is ahead of me. My, what an amusing turn of events. The blood drop proved something to be true, all right. Namely by words. Which one of your words would that be? The ones where I said that your words are meaningless, worthless, and powerless. That has nothing to do with murder investigation whatsoever. Need I remind you that the blood got onto that box long before it entered my embassy? What sort of nonsense? Yeah, it's blood, pal. There's no way it's not related to the murder. See, you'd like to believe. But what if someone preparing the samurai dogs had a small nosebleed? What then? I guess that's possible. Have we been wasting our time on a red herring? The blood doesn't belong to anyone connected to the case. That should be clue enough. Quercus alba! Silence! Don't you ever address me with such a filthy word again. I've wasted enough time here with you, and you have your answers. Now let me through. Oh, but it doesn't matter where you run off to. You'll never escape me. Someday I'll have the satisfaction of sinking my fangs into you. You'll see. And all of Interpol will be behind me, working to see working to see to it. Okay. And all of Interpol will be behind me, working to see to it that day comes. But you know what your words sound like to me. They sound like the whinings of a pathetic loser who might. Ow! Is this really the extent of all we can do? Is the blood really from someone completely unrelated to the case? Again, usually he's ahead of my logic, but I've got him. Is there another possibility? Someone else other than the victim? Just when I thought I had him backed into a corner, it is I who have been backed into one. In a situation like this, what would that man do? What would he, who can turn any desperate situation around, do? Turn it around. Yep. Turnabout. That's Phoenix Wright's specialty. That's it. I must turn my way of thinking around. What would Phoenix do? It's not whose blood is this. It's whose blood could get onto a box like this. And if I think about it that way, if the blood got onto the box when the body was being placed into the pushcart, then the owner of said blood must have been in the dressing room at the time. And there's only one person that could be. Well, I must praise you for trying so hard. It's because of you kids that I was removed from center stage, and will be forced to live out the rest of my life in the shadows, unfortunately. But it's not a total loss, as the underworld will allow me more freedom than you'll ever know. Freedom like what the raven feels as it flies through the dark night sky. He's just mocking us now. You can't lay a finger on me, not now or ever. The arm of the law is powerless before you. Powerless, is it? I wouldn't be so sure about that if I were you. What do you mean? Allow me to describe you in one word. Pitiful. Pitiful? How so? Quercus alba, your wings were clipped long ago. And for someone who is trying to fly away on them without noticing that fact, pitiful is the perfect word to describe you. Mere words. What do you mean by his wings are clipped, Mr. Edgeworth? Just what you think it means, Kay. We had already caught him in our trap a while back. With an incredibly powerful, definitive piece of evidence. Hey, Earth and Mr. Prosecutor, care to speak in English? What are you talking about? What piece of evidence? The piece I speak of is, of course, this drop of blood. But we know it's not from the victim. I don't see how it remains relevant to the case at all. Miss Von Karma, I believe that is exactly why it's very important to the case. And that part that is the most important is the fact that it is not the victim's blood. You're looking a little pale. Good, then I believe you are already aware of what I mean. And then you know who the blood belongs to. Of course I do. This piece of evidence is the irrefutable proof that will stop the killer in his tracks. The blood that soiled this box of samurai dogs belongs to this person. Oh, he said evidence, so I thought that we were getting evidence. Where are you? There you are.
Take that!
The blood of the rising sun on this box belongs to you, Quercus Alba. What? Why is his blood on the box of samurai dogs? It is not even a victim. If the blood fell onto the box when Mr. Cochin's body was being loaded into the pushcart. At that time, the only two people in the dressing room were the victim and his killer. So that's what you mean. If the blood doesn't belong to the victim, then there's only one other person who it could belong to. Yes, and that person is the murderer himself. That's the only logical conclusion. But Mr. Cochin was the one who stabbed, sir. Why would Mr. Alba have been the one who was bleeding? What if during the murder, Mr. Cochin had fought back? You mean if before Mr. Alba could kill him, Mr. Cochin managed to wound Mr. Alba? Yes, and I believe we have a piece of evidence that proves that he was bleeding then.
Take that!
Mr. Alba, you bear on your body a great wound. That was from when Damascus II attacked me with a pair of scissors. Yeah, and that happened way after he was in the dressing room. But is that what really happened? You can manufacture a weapon by smearing blood on it, so I just can't accept that as fact. Shall we try a test, Mr. Alba, and see if the shape of your wound matches the scissors? You really are something else, Mr. Edgeworth. You don't let a single thing slip you by, no matter how insignificant the possibility. You're one to talk, Mr. Alba. You've managed to give the law the slip for 10 years as the smuggling ring's leader. No matter the danger, you can hide every last ounce of fear and anxiety from everyone. You truly are a one-of-a-kind criminal. I'm the master of my fear. However, to think that a person such as you could miss such a large thing. You believe I've overlooked something. You said that my wound was caused by Mr. Cochin, and that it was caused here in one of the theater's dressing rooms, right? Yes, that is correct. I'd like to point out that it's simply not possible. My wound is a stab, and one that could only have come from a blade. I wonder where you would propose that such a weapon came from. This theater was packed with security guards. It would have been impossible for anyone to come into this area with a weapon of any sort. But he had one. He had a blade. Just as Mr. Alba was able to bring the alabaster knife to the bouquet, there must have been some other way to sneak in a weapon of some sort. But as long as you can't prove what that other way is, what you talk about Mr. Cochin stabbing me is pure nonsense. So if that other way does exist, you'd better hurry and tell me now. Gladly. With pleasure. Wait, what? This piece of evidence shows us how Mr. Cochin brought the weapon into this theater.
Take that!
Among law enforcement, this piece is known as the Yatagarasu's key. That key. That's the key that my father stole from here 7 years ago. And it is very unique, in that it is both a key and a knife, meaning that under the guise of a key, it could have easily been brought into the theater. You couldn't dispose of the knife that stabbed you. Therefore, you wiped off the blood and placed it back in Mr. Cochin's pockets. After all, the key itself opens the safe in his office. And inside that safe, there was a document about Hadopian paper, signed by Mr. Cochin. In order to make it look like Mr. Cochin died as the leader of the smuggling ring, you had to make it so that the police were the ones who opened that office safe. All that hard work to save yourself only served to destroy you in the end. Shall we try matching this knife's blade with your wound, Mr. Quercus Alba? And that is what some may call the coup de grace. Wow, the coup de grace. Oh man, I wrote it. The coup de grace. There it is. The coup de grace. Impossible. You can't take me down. Swine, all of you. Especially Manny Cochin. This is all because of that man's betrayal. He sought to steal control of the smuggling ring from me by removing me as an ambassador. Which is why he deserved to die while bearing the guilt for all my crimes for me. That's why I sent out the Yatagarasu's card and how this incident was born. Manny was supposed to be the smuggling ring's leader who was killed by the Yatagarasu. But it. I heard yet another reason, yet another story that was supposed to play out. Manny's death was supposed to bring everything to a close, and I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling prosecutors. Were they trying to reference that? Were they trying to reference Scooby-Doo there? Mr. Alba, I'm afraid there's one more question I forgot to ask. This country, or Alabasks, which country's court would you like to face first? Either way, it's game over for you. Edgeworth! Fireworks are coming out of him. Feeble old man again. This is it, the big day. It's Mr. Alba's trial today. Next week is scheduled to stand trial in his own country in Alabast. Francisca is heading that way. I suspect she'll be serving a full course of whiplashes at it. Having to face Miss Von Karma in court right after facing you, sir. I don't even want to think about what that would be like. I caught a glimpse of Mr. Alba as he was being escorted into the courthouse. And boy, he looked about as glum as I do the day before I get my monthly paycheck. You know, I've been thinking. That flight attendant, and even Mr. Portsmouth, were all Mr. Alba's secret agents. Correct. That smuggling ring was the common thread between all of them. All of the incidents. Cammy Meal was to provide support during the smuggling ops, using her job as an attendant. Mr. Portsmouth was to manipulate trials related to the ring to end in their favor. I fly airlines, and even the prosecutor's office. No one was safe from the smuggling ring, huh, sir? I suspect there are even more members of this ring spread throughout the world. Yeah, it sounds like such a big op. I can't even begin to imagine what it's like. What is it, Detective? Nothing. It's just, well, come to think of it. Mr. Ernest Armano's trial is also scheduled for later today, sir. I'm aware of that. Mr. Armano has been working with the smuggling ring now for over 10 years. He used the Armano Group's various connections worldwide to assist the ring. But all of that has come to an end, as his conglomerate is now undergoing harsh scrutiny. I owe Mr. Armano a debt of gratitude, but he must pay his debt to society. Well, with the arrests of both Mr. Alba and Mr. Armano, I guess that about wraps up the KG-8 incident as well, huh? I suppose so. The real killer in the KG-8 incident 10 years ago was Manny Koshin. And 7 years ago, the killer of the second KG-8 incident was Mackerel. Those two facts are unshakable truth. However, it seems that a lot of effort was put into hiding these and other truths from us. And I will expose it all at the trials today. You're solving cases left and right today, aren't you, sir? CCU and Dead Man. Deed Man? I don't even know. Perhaps now these two brave souls who tried to make the truth known can rest in peace. By the way, I received some gifts from Ambassador Paleno. Shrimp, crab, beef. I don't need any of these. I'm giving them to you. Seriously, sir? Wait, actually, I don't think I want them anymore. The way you're holding them. Don't tell me they're just coupons, sir. Detective Gumshoe, have you not read the paper recently? Ever since the two countries became Cadopia again, its economy has changed. Really? And it seems that Ambassador Paleno has reaped a few benefits from the zone from it. He has been announced as the official ambassador of the newly reunified Cadopia. But what a pity. Even though every item he sent is a treasure, you don't seem all that interested. Well, if you don't want them, I can give them to my lovely assistant, Kay. Oh, wait, that's not what I said. Mr. Edgeworth, please let me have them, sir. Actually, come to think of it, where is Kay? How come she's still not here? Hey, you've got to be more alert than that. Was she imitating me? Should I have been mimicking Mr. Edgeworth's voice? I am going to give them to my special assistant, Kay. How would she imitate his voice? I can barely imitate his voice. I can barely do voices, let alone imitations of one person or somebody imitating another person's voice. I can't believe you didn't notice I was even mimicking Mr. Edgeworth's voice for a bit. Totally didn't notice you or realize that voice was you. Langsy says, ferocious love blooms with each new spring. Agent Lang, a pleasant surprise to see you here. It's been a long time since I set foot in the courthouse, but I wasn't gonna miss watching this guy, who screwed up my country's finally get what was coming to him. Well, that and something else. I want to see you in action, in court. Is that so, Agent Black? We fleshed out all the counterfeit bills, so Zangfa is finally at peace again. And it's all thanks to you, so I just want to say thanks. Wow, I never thought I'd see the day old Wolfie says thanks to Mr. Edgeworth. I should be the one thanking you, Agent Black. If you hadn't negated Mr. Alba's extraterritorial rights, I would not have been able to bring him to trial. I believe victory belongs to the both of us in this case. Shared victory, huh? Look, don't get me wrong. I still never forgive you, prosecutors. And I have zero interest in that truth thing you talk about in court. I've always done things my own way, and that's not about to change. You got that? I see. Well, I believe you should follow your own creed when you do your job. Yeah, and if there's ever someone your precious truth can't catch, feel free to sit around and cry about it all you want. But as for me, I'm gonna get that person no matter what. Alright. It's about time for the trial to start. I will see you later. I'll be watching your performance from the gallery. I'm looking forward to this. I prepared a whole ton of ticker tape for today's victory, sir. I'll help throw some around when Mr. Edgeworth wins. Hope you've got enough, because I'm going to go call my men up as well. A modest amount of ticker tape goes a long way. Everybody gets a piece. The scene shifts to the courtroom, and the final act of this long tale begins. The legend of the great thief Yatagarasu. It's the story of those who chose to dedicate their lives to the pursuit of the truth. Why is it going so fast? Prosecutors are those who seek a guilty verdict for the defendants they meet. And to that end, you have no choice but to win by any means necessary. That creed was forced on me since I was very young. However, I no longer think that is all we prosecutors are. And that is because... even though I've only been away from the cauldron for a short time, I feel as though it's been a lifetime since I've set foot in one. And today, more than any other day, I feel the fight within me rising.
Objection!
And roll credits. I'm really into Mr. Edgeworth's debt for the other day. I'm really into Mr. Thanks to him, I'm still free to serve in the friendly blue skies. I forget what I did for my voice. Oh, so about my suitcases. I've been selling them on the internet, and they've become a real sensation. Thanks to the praise the art world has lavished on my work as being truly postmodern. The airline has chosen me to design their new line of Firefly jumbo jets. Oh no. Just think, someday you will be able to take a ride in my pink-walled, yellow-seated jet. Oy. I made some sort of accent for him. Oh no, I think it was forced in his words. Edgeworth? Ah, the rudeness of a rude man. Because of him, my diamond money is wasted. But more importantly, I received a most fantastic treasure recently. The Prima Duck statue of the Principality of Cotopia. It weighs a bit light in my hands, but the Ambassador Beleno was most generous. It was an accent. I don't remember what the accent was. Sorry. It's been too long. We finally caught Agent Hicks's killer, and I was able to witness Mr. Alba's teary eyes. It feels good to finally bring everything to a close. I received another offer from Interpol to work another case in cooperation with them. Wow. However, the Catopian courts await. Catopia's air is supposed to be very fresh, so my whip should find new vigor there. I wonder if she's going to fly in the yellow-walled pink... or pink-walled yellow-seated plane. This little patrolman has been fired up today, sir. I thought I was safe since we found the gun I had dropped. But I hadn't noticed that I had dropped my police badge too. I guess what really broke the camel's back was that I couldn't find my badge. My little life has suddenly tripped into a dark black hole, sir. I think I'll go to the courthouse and file a complaint with Ruffles Man. Edgeworth has been reduced to Ruffles Man. I was actually hoping to talk with Mr. Edgeworth a bit more than I did. But I've got to get going and return to Europe. I've still got a long way to go and lots of stuff to study there. Next time I help Mr. Edgeworth on a case, I'm going to do it as a real forensic scientist. I'm sure he's going to need all the help I can give him, scientifically. Because the kidnapping was staged, I was let off easy. But I won't be going outside much anytime soon, but that's really okay. The only prison I'm forever trapped in is the cage of love! The guard down at the detention center. Well, when he's on guard duty. He has such a cold look in his eyes, just like that prosecutor. Badump. Ah! Stop it, Lauren! When will you ever learn to stop being a prisoner of love?
It appears that there are all sorts of drama that takes place outside of the courtroom. Since we judges are here day in and day out, I've only heard a few rumors, but... Apparently, Mr. Edgeworth teamed up with a thief and became a detective. Maybe I should team up with a bailiff and try to become a lawyer or something.
I barely escaped death yet again. Yeah, but boy were we lucky to have Mr. Edgeworth help us out, huh? Yeah, but because I lost the key, I got fired from my security guard job. Don't let it get you down, Maggie. You've still got me. You're right, sir. I will be sad. I'm going to pick myself up and get through this. I wonder what my next job should be. Ooh, this is actually kind of fun. Why not come to Cadopia for your summer vacation? We have coupons aplenty. Right now, our embassy is proud to present our Let's Investigate a Murder show. Although recreating that particular case has created a few small fires of its own. And then we had a few problems with the fire marshals, but the next event will be great. It will be an attraction entitled Capture the Yatagarasu. Of course, I hope to enlist Kay's help in creating our latest attraction. Little Thief would be awesome for, like, blueprinting in 3D. It'll just, like, have a model of what you're building, and just build through it. I can't believe that Mindy ditched me and went to Japan! But it's okay, because that's how I met Miharu. We're planning to go to Paris soon, and start a business. We're going to sell blue ocean dogs. And those are like hotcake hot dogs for sure. A blue hot dog and a blue bun. I guarantee it'll turn your tongue and your face blue. I know I'm not really the type to work a lot, or at all really, but... so I noticed that I really haven't seen the guy in the blue suit at all recently. I wonder what's up. Well, the next time we meet, I'm going to make him eat one of my dogs. I mean, he of all people would call him by name. He would call him Nick. Also, I wonder what the original Japanese is where Mindy went. Because it couldn't have possibly been Japan. Maybe America? Today I gave testimony in court today. That was a repetition. As a member of the Yatagarasu. Yeah, Mr. Bag, you look well, all things considered. By the way, have you noticed that elements within the ring have begun moving? They're probably fighting over who should succeed. Over who should be the next boss. Although, to be honest, I wish I could forget I'd ever heard of that smuggling ring. Langsy says, thoroughly bite the poisonous snake from head to tail. No one runs afoul of the law and escapes this wolf's fangs. I'll get y'all yet. Oh, youth. When did I become so old, I wonder? I've begun noticing the gray hairs in my beard more. I'm thinking of retiring my mirror. Oh, of course, we're gonna have to hear from Miss Old Bag. I was the Pink Princess and the Pink Badger all in the span of 2 days. Talk about busy. But it's alright, because I got a letter from my beloved Edgy Poo. Please take care of your hip, and when you wish to speak, first take off your headpiece. What do you mean by that last statement? It's not like I enjoy being under the headpiece every time I see him. It's been an alien, some creepy fuzzy pink animal, and then I was the Pink Princess, a great hero of justice, but since... Nope. Yeah. Okay. Have we reached the end? Ah, here we are. Ooh, I feel so much better now that the trial's over. And as always, your legal prowess is top-notch, sir. Yeah, nothing beat the look on Mr. Alba's face when you revealed the ring's secrets. I was amazed. You're like a totally different person when you step into a courtroom. Mr. Edgeworth is always 10 times fiercer in court. Based on the information Mr. Alba offered up, they've begun large-scale operations to clean up the rest of the ring, which I'm happy to leave to Francisca and Agent Lang. So what are your plans now, Kay? Well, we've taken care of the creep who killed my father, so I'm not sure. Hey, I know! Maybe I'll just keep on being Mr. Edgeworth's assistant. Are you still trying to steal my job, pal? Just kidding, just kidding. I can steal something so important to you, Gummy. I can't steal something so important to you, Gummy. What a relief. Kay. Yes? Even after all that's happened, are you still planning to become a great thief? Of course! But I don't want to tarnish the legend of the noble Yatagarasu. So I'm going to hold off on doing anything until I make my tight 3-person team of my own. 3-person team. Don't say it, Gumshoe. A 3-person team of young beauties the same age as me, if possible. Okay, there we go. With those criteria, I highly doubt you'll find the 2 other people you need. My father chose to fight for the truth. I think that's what was so noble about him. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, the only things I will ever steal are the truths that have been hidden away. I'm going to work extra hard to make the world where the Yatagarasu isn't needed. Let's both strive for such a future. Well, I guess it's time for me to get going. I see. Okay, keep your chin up and stay strong, okay? And don't be a stranger. Don't worry, I'll be back. I'll be sure to break the lock on the window and sneak in. If you could, I'd appreciate if you came in through the building's front door. It's okay, Mr. Edgeworth. The lock on my window at home has been broken for forever. Oh, one last thing before I go. Let's take a group picture, just the 3 of us. Yeah, commemorative photo. Every big case has to end with one. No. Hey, why not? Don't tell me your camera's shy, Mr. Edgeworth. Of course not, Detective. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm taking the picture now. Hey, come back here! Mr. Edgeworth, you can't run away from this, sir. Hey, Detective Gumshoe. Stop that. I can't be seen doing that. Okay, I'm totally taking it now. Say cheese! And thus the long tale of the KG8 incident came to a close. saw the demise of a smuggling ring and the birth of a little great thief. But there is little time to rest and relax, for I'm eager to tackle the investigation into a new case. The reason for my eagerness is my want to pursue the truth, and my want to believe in the strength of those who use the power of the law for good. As someone who has chosen to live my life as a prosecutor, that is my new creed. And thus ends Ace Attorney Investigations, the spin-off of the series, which happens chronologically after the original trilogy, which we'll get into later whenever I play the other game that kind of was the sequel to the trilogy, but that's for later because, as I've mentioned several times before, I have found the device where my fan translation, not mine, but like where I downloaded the fan translation of the game for the next game, for Ace Attorney Investigations 2, which will be the next game that I am going to be posting here. So keep an eye out for that. And I mean, I might have played this game twice, but I definitely only played that game once. So I can remember very little about I remember bits and pieces. I remember some of the criminals that I'm going to run into. And by some, I mean one. I can remember one really scary person. And I remember one case, like the, how do I describe it? Not like the point of the case or the theme of the case, but something special about the case. But anyway, yeah, Turnabout Ablaze is, I mean, it's the long one because it's the last case of the game. It's like the big final boss, big last level of the game. That's how it goes. A lot of politics, a lot of lengthiness, as I mentioned in the previous part whenever we were breaking through there. This last part was definitely shorter. You can tell by the runtime of this, and we had a 10-minute long credits sequence too, so, you know, already so much shorter in this last part. But yeah, all the going between the country, it's interesting in like how it all played out. Like I always really like these cases where, you know, you only know so much about it, even though you're seeing a lot of the pieces of what's happening. But you only you don't use that sort of thing until the end, or things are revealed at the end that are kind of like foreshadowed at the beginning. So, you know, we picked up that quote unquote guitar piece win. Or for example, like when we saw the Steel Samurai go through the door with the cart, like that was, Manny was there. Like the body was in the cart at that time when we saw him pass through there. So that's a little bit crazy to think about too. That we actually witnessed the body walk or be ridden by. So I always like how they, you know, it's all very well connected and well structured or whatever to, and though there can sometimes be like leaps in logic or some things that don't quite work as far as like not logically, but I don't know what word I'm looking for. But sometimes there's some things that just don't make sense. But I think this one was pretty solid. This was a pretty solid case overall. But like I said, a lot of politic sort of things. But it was good to see everybody kind of, because I always like seeing all the characters. So like Kay was there and important. Gumshoe was there. Lang, of course. Francisca. And all kind of just came together. And of course we got to see Larry as the Steel Samurai, much to Edgeworth's annoyance. And of course, speaking of Edgeworth's annoyance, the return of Wendy Oldbag, who is a character you love to hate, I guess. I mean, I don't know. She's something. She's something else. I wonder what your thoughts on Wendy Oldbag is. She's interesting. But yeah, like I was saying at the during the case, like Larry might be accident prone and just messes up all the time, but those have been allowing for the fact of finding out important truths to the cases. So it's fun how that all works out too. Well, anyway, so yeah, KG8 was the overarching story here with the smuggling ring and everything involved in that. All leading to Ambassador Alba, or ex-Ambassador Alba, I suppose I should call him now. And the Yatagara suit and everything there just kind of coming to an end here. So the next game, I don't remember if it has an overarching, like it has to have an overarching plot. I just don't remember what it is. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be interesting to play that next game and post it here, because I am going to be at a loss with what to do. I'll follow the logic of the game, possibly mess up like I did in this one, where it's like, where I think of it and then don't think of it later whenever it's like, oh, present the evidence. It's like, oh, duh. Sometimes that happens. I guess it's the pressure. It's it's being put on the spot here of posting this. But anyway, I hope you've been enjoying, and I'm glad you're continuing to watch or jumping into at least this particular game, and hope you enjoy the sequel. I don't know how how common it is to see this game on YouTube, or the series on YouTube. But I would venture to guess that the sequel to this isn't as common. So we'll see if we can get some more views in here, I guess, because I guess I should kind of care about that stuff. I don't know. But yeah, so, well, speaking of things I should care about, subscribe to be able to hear whenever the next game comes to be posted here. It'll be about 3 days before I start that. And in the meantime, I've got my Fire Emblem game running side by side with this. So I guess I will leave it there, and hope you guys have been enjoying. And if you want to let me know what you think, absolutely do so in comments below, or if I know you personally, tell me about it. Tell me what your thoughts are on everything that's been going down with Edgeworth, and we'll continue to follow his prosecutor's path, I believe is the unofficial name for the second game. So we'll continue to follow his prosecutor's path in the next game, and I will talk to you guys then.